Hello everyone, Jimmy Ziggy back with Ziggy's Lawn and Landscape. This is a video that some of our subscribers have been waiting for. I'm going to be taking you guys through the process of fixing that Suzuki, the black ATV, the 700, and show you how I was able to turn it out for a great profit, as well as a couple other little things are mentioned in the video. But I'm going to take you along. It was over the course of, I say, 3 weeks, just because of everything else we had going on, setting up the house, setting up this YouTube studio that I'm in right now, just everything else, all these other projects we had to take care of first, and this was kind of a pick and choose kind of when I could do it. So nonetheless, it's finished, and we'll see all of it on video here. Hello everyone, happy rainy Sunday. We got a treat from Amazon today. One of the parts that I've been waiting for is a voltage rectifier / regulator for one of our ATVs. And I got a freshly charged battery that I took off the machine and charged it up. So let's go get these things installed and see if this charging problem's fixed. So I believe we did a little bit of a walk around last time. This was in Steve's truck, but this is the 2004 Arctic Cat 250 4x4 that runs, but it was not charging properly. So I had a dead battery and it would not run without a jump pack in there, and now it's getting dark, so I'm going to try to do this quickly. But I got my battery. I'm going to have the rectifier off. It's only 2 bolts, which you can't really see back in there, but like I said, I got the new one. Anticipating a comment, what is a voltage rectifier regulator? Well, this is the new one out of the packaging. Basically, it takes the 3 wires from the stator and it correctly converts the proper voltage back to the battery, so that you're not charging it too low or too high, and it should maintain it right around like 14 or so, somewhere right around there. So like we said, it's only 2 bolts, very simple install, and it's just 2 plugs. These are a very common issue on Arctic Cats and Suzuki quads. Install is complete. Let's see if we have juice. All right, so as you can tell there, got that one fixed up. That was just a starter. That one was over a month ago, I think. I bought that for $1,000. Probably had about 1,200 into it by the time I sold it, and I sold it for 2,800 bucks. So 1,600 bucks, not a bad profit at all. I'll take that every day. So we'll move on now to a more recent project, which is the Suzuki, which is like the focus of the video. So this is a 2007 Suzuki King Quad 700. It's a big one. Me and Steve picked this up a few weeks ago. If you've been keeping up with the videos, we got this for 1,500 bucks. Not running, unknown condition is what the guy told us. He didn't know what was wrong with it. It broke down or something, and he let it sit for a year or 2. But it has good compression, and it pulls over with the turn cord. But I did a little bit of digging last night, and there was no initially there was no battery, so I charged up a little battery that I had, and I threw it on here. I'm going to show you guys what I found and how I'm going to turn this into a huge profit off of a silly little mistake. So upon initial investigation, when I hook this negative terminal up to the battery, which I will in a second, I get no power. There's nothing. There was nothing on the screen. The key didn't work, nothing. So then I thought, okay, maybe the battery's dead, or it's not perfect, or there's something wrong with it. So I got my jump pack and I hooked that right up to it. Okay, so now I have my jump pack on here, and I know this is good. This is definitely a good system. And I turn it on to on, and I still get nothing. So what I do is, if I wiggle the positive terminal, you can see, look at the screen. See? Just by playing with this, I'm getting something. You know, I could get it to sustain for a second if I... All right, so now I have it on. The problem I was having initially was, as soon as I would turn this switch to anything else, there's headlights, or I would hit like the 4-wheel drive engage button, or even this is off, I would switch any of it to on, and immediately it would cut right out, this whole thing. But now I guess we have a good enough connection that you see the headlights work. I mean, stuff like that works. The 4-wheel drive button will work. So it was just, I was wondering, like, man, this has to be a loose connection, because as soon as you ask it for any power, it shuts right down. So I got digging a little bit more, and obviously it's with the power wire. I thought this jumper is kind of acting like a pair of pliers. It has some sort of pinching to it, so I was figuring, you know, maybe that pinching is making a good connection. And visually you look at it, I mean, it looks like it's connected, but it's not. This positive wire does not have a good connection to that terminal there. So look at what happens when I pull this cord with my finger, just pull it back, it turns right on. So this guy before me was throwing batteries at this thing, thinking it's batteries or some sort of weird other electrical connection. Electrical scares everyone. Nobody wants to deal with it. And a lot of times it's very simple stuff that goes wrong. Something like this cable right here is probably like $3 from an auto parts store, and that's all that's wrong with it, was making a bad connection. Because the first time I was doing it, it was not making a good connection. So as soon as you asked it for any power, it shuts right off. See how it did right there. But if I go ahead and make the good connection, look at that, perfect. And I got my headlights on, and now I can crank it over. So now that I have the cable loose, just so you can definitely see what I'm talking about here, you see that second tab it's not making contact anywhere on this wire. It's only this one which may have gotten corrosion and may be making just a bad connection overall. So maybe I can recrimp this. I can even get a new end for it. I just to double check and make sure it wasn't this end from pressure, I just checked this way, end looks perfect and it's tightened all the way, because this is your starter relay solenoid. So I just didn't want to not include that in the option, just make sure that's okay. But this is going to be the solution by the end of the day, is this this wire. So I'm either going to replace it or recrimp this one, and then we'll see how it goes from there. Let's see if it starts up after that. Gonna need to help this little guy out. See what happens. Been a few minutes later, I'm still having a charging issue. 12.4, 12.2, it's not quite enough. It should be higher than that. It should be somewhere like 13.7 to 14.2, somewhere in there. All right, I'm gonna dig into it just a little bit, find that voltage issue. And then once I do, I'm gonna do my standard thing, put a winch and put a plow on this beast, and we'll shine her up, make her look all nice. And should go for sale after that. It'll be a nice little flip. Another day here, and I finally got this Suzuki quad to charge correctly. It was only charging at like 13 volts, which is not charging at all. That's just the voltage that the battery was at, and like I thought, it had a bad regulator. So let me show you something here. So I've been finding over and over again on a lot of these Suzuki ATVs that I have worked on, is that the regulator is usually the culprit. You can see I have the brand new one there. I just loosely plugged it in. The old one is still bolted up, which I will make the switch. And basically what that does is your stator has 3 wires that generates a current, and it puts it into this box right here, this regulator rectifier box, and that corrects the voltage properly to go back to your DC battery in the form of about 14 volts, give or take a little bit. 14.2, 14.3, that's ideal. is what this box does. And sometimes when they go bad, you get an over voltage. You'll get like 15 or 16, which is way too much, and the thing won't run right. And then sometimes they go bad the other way where they don't charge at all, which is what this one was doing. So this was a common problem I found on all of the Suzuki ATVs I've worked on. So far I've replaced a lot of these things, especially on the older King quads, like the 300s and the 250s. I've seen a lot of these, and on the Arctic Cats also. So now that we have the proper voltage on the meter, which is obviously not charging right now because it's off, we're good to go. This quad is good, and I'm gonna put a plow on the front of it, and I'll show you it when it's all done up and it looks good with the plow on there and the winch and everything done there. So for us, instead of going out during a 10-hour snowstorm or something like that and being up all night, I would rather take the hour or so that I have invested into this. And like we said, we bought this for 1,500 bucks with a snow plow. Somebody will buy this. In our minds, we're thinking, you know, 10-hour snowstorm, go make a good amount of money, but freeze your butt off, be out there all night, or work on an hour for an ATV, know what the market is, and be able to flip it in our spare time and make a good amount of money also. I would rather do the latter of what I just said. So I also never even said that we bought this one. This is a, I forget the year, but it's a Kawasaki Prairie 360 4x4. We got it in for 1,000 bucks, and it's all in good shape. No cracks or anything in the fenders. The tires are decent. It's just another proof of why we don't really plow snow. And this one's sitting out here perfectly running. It looks good. All right, here we are, the day that this thing's getting posted for sale. It came out great with the plow and the winch. I just did a quick little cleaning on it. It looks okay. I hope it goes for big money because, like I said, it's got paperwork with a clean title, original bill of sale. It really doesn't need anything. It just needs a new driver, new home. Just show you the winch setup. Tucked away nice down in there. The plow is just it's a cycle country that I mounted up underneath. And she's ready to go. All right, it's gone officially. While I was actually editing this whole video, I had a buyer come and they picked it up. We settled on 3,800 bucks, which is, I think that's a killing for us, and they get a good deal. The only reason I listed it for 4,250, which is what I was really hoping to get, but there was an issue with the gauge cluster that it wasn't properly reading mileage and stuff, so we just settled on a couple $100 shorter, which is fine because I understand, you know, they want it to be right and all that. So that's what we settled on, 3,800 bucks. I believe we only had like 1,700 into it or something like that. So we made $2,000 in maybe 2 hours, 3 maybe, if you count like going to get it and a little bit extra time, but still. Regardless, we had an outstanding turnout. We couldn't be happier with it. That's gonna pretty much wrap up the video. That green quad that I showed you, we sold that for $2,000 as well. I forgot to say that. So that was another good turnout. We had 3 really hot quads go real quick, made good money. But the point of the video is that this is kind of what we do in the winter. At least, you know, we had the whole house move in, but typically we spend our winters doing our little projects here and there. We make a good amount of money. I'm not going to say that we make like a killing, like a sustainable, you know, work, or else we would do it all year round. But we do it just as a little extra money flow coming in. So the point of the video, you know, I wasn't trying to rat on people who do plow snow. We find it easier to not plow snow. We just on our, you know, we like to recover over the winter on ourselves, and We do these little projects that keep everything moving along, and we have machines that need to be dealt with over the winter for our actual landscaping business and just organizing business and everything. We like to go away. There's a lot of different reasons why we don't plow snow, but just want to make little points here and there about what we do in our winter free time. So just a little snippet. We're going to make more videos on more projects that we get in because we still have a lot of stuff on the list. My truck's on the list. If you haven't seen, I crashed my truck unfortunately a few weeks back, so that has to be fixed. We have like a walker mower that needs to be dealt with and fixed with a starter, a few just little other things here and there that all need to be dealt with. But we're going to film everything. We're going to keep up with all of our live streams and all that good stuff. So really appreciate it making it to this point in the video. If you liked it, go down and hit the thumbs up button. Leave a comment if you want, and feel free to subscribe if you want to stick around and watch the next video. So appreciate it. Thanks, and I hope everybody has a very good new year. Thank you guys.